What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having an amazing day. As always, I'm going to talk about celebrity activism, the media's activism, why it's a complete psyops, why it's completely fake and unproductive and unhelpful. If you stay tuned, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about Syria, the Middle East, United States, what's going on in the news, what's going on social media, and what's actually going on in reality that nobody's talking about. So I'm going to wait for everybody to come into the live stream for about 30 seconds. As always, if you would like, you can follow me on Instagram at DreamRare. That's DreamRare, DreamRare on Instagram. That's also the name of my website that I have shirts on, dreamrare.com. If you'd like to pick up a shirt or hat, that's fine. If not, it's all good. I'm going to post my links below at the end if you would like to support or check out my free email list. But let's wait about 10 more seconds for people to get into the live stream. There's a lot going on in the world. There's some interesting things, and I just wanted to use this title to talk about Syria, to talk about stuff going on in the United States, and to talk about how the media and the celebrity cult or elite class, whatever you want to call them. I call them a cult because it's like they're making no sense. They shut down discussion, they lie, they make up things, they support politicians no matter what they do just based off words. The big thing is a bunch of celebrities, they support Cory Booker, who is a Democratic politician who is, famous for squandering $100 million that was supposed to go to Newark schools, never ended up going there. He's been sold out to the pharmacy industry for years. Recently, he made the most disingenuous video I've ever seen, and he was like, hey, I'm going to stop selling out to the pharmacy industry because people are paying attention now. And he's like, I'll probably take money from them when people stop paying attention. It's basically what he was saying. I mean, the dude is a complete phony, but that's how easy it is to fool celebrities. You just say a few things. And my big problem with it is not that celebrities don't agree with me. It's not that the media doesn't agree with me. I don't care what people think. I always say I care that people are able to think. I don't care if people's opinions line up with mine. But the celebrity cult, the celebrity activists, and the mainstream media, they're creating this entire fake fantasy world. They're making up stories. They're making up complete storylines that have no sort of basis in reality, and they use them and keep pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. And my problem with it is that when everything's racist and when you make up all these fake stories about racism, but then you never really get to the root of racism and you never get to the root of the most racist things happening in the world, you're hurting people. When everything is sexist, when everything is bad for women, except for the most terrible crimes against women that are happening all over the world and in the United States, you're actually hurting women. So my big problem with their activism is that they lie about everything. They're so far off, and it's not only that they're just wrong, they try to shut down any discussion outside of them. And I don't care, liberal, Democrat, whatever, left, right, it's not about titles to me. I always say that people get mad, well, why are you siding with them? Why are you siding with them? The reason I'm doing it is I didn't choose this. Like I say a lot, I've been liberal my whole life. I'm, hippie mindset, peace, love, positivity, and all that stuff. But I found out through deep research, and I find out every single day, it is not the liberal Democrats, it is not the mainstream media, and it's certainly not the celebrity activists that are getting to the root of the problem, and they're not the ones holding President Trump accountable. President Trump and his entire cabinet, they're not going to be perfect. They're going to make some mistakes, but guess what? You could pay attention to this. You could disagree with it if you want. You can, acknowledge or consider this reality that is true outside of people's crazy, media brainwash bubble that they put themselves in. But it is actually Trump supporters, and it is actually the Bernie Sanders type left-leaning progressives that are the only ones that keep it real with President Trump when his cabinet does make a mistake, and most times they listen and change it. So it's not the liberal Democrats. The liberal Democrats are the opposite of a solution. And I'm not saying that to choose sides or anything. It's just the truth. Celebrity activists, they're so fake and they're so phony. They don't talk about Syria. They don't talk about Haiti. They don't talk about the Middle East intervention. They don't talk about Africa. They don't talk about the United States. They don't talk about real racism and real sexism. They don't have solutions. They have a complete psyops and mental slavery amongst people to the point where they actually prevent people from finding a solution. And when there is something that's out of line that really should take our consideration, it is actually Trump supporters who are paying attention. The mainstream media narrative that Trump supporters are all ignorant, racist, sexist, xenophobic is totally not true. Are there some racist Trump supporters that are xenophobic and hateful and just very negative and nasty? Absolutely. But it's a small percentage. It's not the whole base. There's millions of reasons to support and like what he's doing. And I just want to give you an example. I mean, like I said recently, everybody's been sharing the Cory Booker video of him screaming and crying about racism, even though, like I said, he squandered $100 million that was supposed to go to New York school. He's been sold out to the pharmacy industry. You know, he's basically a puppet of that. But the same people, the same celebrities I find sharing all these articles about how much they care about Haiti and how much they care about Africa. Like I did, I have a big video going around. It says, "Is Black America being lied to and misled?" You can check that out. It's got almost 500,000 views in under 24 hours. I hope it gets more because it's very insightful. But they complain and cry about Haiti and Africa and the United States. But there's specific things that happened in Africa, especially in the last 5 years. And there's specific things that happened in Haiti. The Haitian people are crying for help. The Libyan people, the African people are speaking. But the celebrities close their ears. They don't want to hear it. They just want to hear words. They just want to hear a fake, African-American politician who can speak to them to lure them in for their votes. And it's disgusting to me because it's almost too much to even be an irony. It's almost like we're living in an opposite world where all of a sudden every, race activist, every celebrity is outraged at what President Trump said about Haiti. They're outraged. They can't even consider it. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. I've already made a video also about how that was never even officially confirmed. I might make a new video about it. The Washington Post, who's lied multiple times, they said it was based on people in the meeting. The only senator to come forward and say, "Oh, it really happened," was Dick Durbin, who also, there's a clip going around during the Obama administration. They accused him of lying about what happened in the meeting. So this guy's a known liar. He's, in on it. But regardless, even if it was said, I don't know, but the fact that every celebrity activist can be outraged over this rumor that they don't even know is true. But 0% of them. Find me one celebrity activist who's mad about Africa and Haiti, who's told the truth about what happened in Libya and what happened in Syria. They won't do it because they support those same politicians who bring the destruction, who brought the military intervention. And I'll tell you what, Republicans gave George Bush a pass and said, "George Bush, go to Afghanistan, go to Iraq," even though it was Osama bin Laden who wasn't in Iraq. We went to Iraq. Republicans gave George Bush a pass. He did his thing. Liberal Democrats gave Obama a pass. They didn't pay attention. He intervened in 7 different countries. He killed the leader of Libya. He killed, multiple leaders of multiple countries. He tried to kill the leader of Syria and do the same thing. Liberal Democrats gave him a pass. So yes, Republicans gave Bush a pass. Democrats gave Obama a pass. But there's a difference right now because Trump is not what the media says. You could say he's arrogant, you could say he's mean, you could say he's rude, those type of things I can agree with you, but he called out lobbying. He called out the fact that all the politicians were sold out. So instead of embracing it, instead of the media saying, "Oh wow, we have a rich billionaire who's putting his life on the line to tell the world that every politician is sold out, every single one." Cory Booker sold out to the pharmacy industry. Tulsi Gabbard, up until this year, taking money from even the most trustworthy politicians. Maybe 2 or 3 of them weren't. The entire system was a sellout system to the highest bidder. Every single politician, almost every single politician before President Trump came around, was sold out to some sort of industry, whether it be foreign or domestic. They were a bunch of sellouts. It's what they did. They lied for a living. So the media flipped the script and said he's sold out to everyone, even though he's the one who threw the warning flags. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I'm saying the media is flipping the script on almost everything. And an example, besides the Libya one and the Haiti one that everyone's going to be talking about, is in Syria now. One of the reasons that President Trump got into office and one of the reasons that he was so popular among people that were interested in foreign policy, the celebrities don't care about foreign policy. Find me a celebrity activist who's talking about Syria or Libya or Haiti. They're not, because they don't know and they don't care. They're a bunch of fake, phony, sellout, delusional hypocrites. But in Syria, before I get carried away, a lot of people like President Trump because his policy, what he campaigned on, is he said, I'm going to stop funding moderate rebels. And you heard, what's his name, Louis Farrakhan mentioned it. You know, love or hate the guy, he's very intellectual when it comes to foreign policy, and he knows what's going on. I showed him my other video. You could watch it, how Black America has been lied to and misled. But he explains what happened in Libya. They did that in Libya. They funded moderate rebels, killed the leader, and left a complete power vacuum. They were doing the same thing in Syria. You will not hear John Legend say this. You will not hear Don Lemon say this. You will not hear Sarah Silverman say this. You're not going to hear any celebrity activists tell you this, because they are fake activists. They are psyops. Their head is so far shoved up their own asses that they believe themselves. But this was a large vote getter for President Trump. A lot of people are anti-intervention. They're paying attention to what Bush did. They're paying attention to what Obama did. They're paying attention to what Hillary Clinton did. So now, President Trump overturned the policy of funding moderate rebels, which has led to a lot of refugees going back to their countries not being refugees, because they don't have to be refugees if you don't blow up their country. And this is what the activists never talk about. Oh, we got to bring the refugees here. We got to bring these people here. We got to bring these people here. We got to bring these people here. You don't have to bring everybody here if you don't destroy the country or help destroy and dismantle any sort of normality in their own country. So celebrities don't care about that. They're such bigots and such supremacists that they destroy someone's land and then they're like, yo, we got to bring them here. I mean, I can't think of a more supremacist ideology than that. But recently, since the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, with the help of Russia, Iran, Turkey, and the United States overturning the policy, they've been able to take their own country back from ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and all the other extremist groups. They're almost gone. Recently, Rex Tillerson, who is the Secretary of State under the Trump administration, he has recently said that he wants to stay in Syria and he wants to possibly oust Bashar al-Assad, although it sounds like he doesn't want to do it violently. He says he's waiting until Bashar al-Assad is out of Syria. And in Syria, the whole reason that we intervened in Syria, the whole reason that we said we intervened, is because we said that Bashar al-Assad, president of Syria, used chemical weapons against his own people. Now, there are a lot of people that believe that to be true. But there's also a lot of people, including Ron Paul, a lot of Trump supporters, a lot of Bernie Sanders type supporters, and AKA the only people that actually pay attention to foreign policy, while the news and the media is screaming, oh my God, it's xenophobic, everything is xenophobic, even though they have no clue what's going on in Europe, they have no clue what's going on in the Middle East, they have no clue what's going on in Africa. They don't care about what's going on in Africa. They don't care about what's going on in the Middle East. And they don't care about going on within Europe, because all they know how to do is say 3 words: racist, sexist, xenophobic. They don't want to dissect the situation. They don't want to talk about it honestly. They don't want to talk about extremists and slave trade and all this disgusting thing, raping a country of resources. That's not in their vocabulary. It's too honest. It's too fair. It's too helpful. So they just stay on the surface and shut down any sort of conversation. Well, anyway, getting back to Syria, Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State under Trump, says he wants to stay in Syria and get rid of Bashar al-Assad. Would you believe who is actually speaking out against this? Who is questioning this? Who is talking out against it and doing real activism? It's not liberal Democrats and it's not celebrity activists. It's never liberal Democrats. It's never celebrity activists. They are the fakest, most phony hypocrites and psyops in the United States currently. They lie to black people for votes. They lie to Latinos for votes. They lie to white liberals for votes. They lie to feminists for votes. They lie to the LGBT community for votes. Now that all of these communities are waking up, they're trying to just bring illegals to the United States, because then they figure maybe they'll give us votes. They're shipping people from Puerto Rico into Florida under the guise of, activism and helping people, when in reality, they're probably just trying to flip the state to blue. Anyway, the only ones who actually speak out about what's going on in Haiti, the only ones who actually speak about what's going on in Africa, the only ones who actually speak about what's going on in the Middle East is Trump supporters and Bernie Sanders supporters. They're the only ones who hold Trump accountable. The Democrats and the celebrity activists create this whole air of fake news. They spread misinformation. They spread rumors. They circle jerk these fake ideas and these fake accusations around to themselves. They make up their own hashtag movements, whether it be Black Lives Matter, Me Too, or Time's Up, which I supported all of them at the beginning because I'm all for racial justice and equality. I'm all for women's empowerment. But I found out Black Lives Matter, Me Too, and Time's Up, they're not for women's empowerment or for, the benefit of the black community. They're complete psyops to distract people from the real root of the problem, so they're never solved. Because they don't want the problem for women solved, because then they won't have a bunch of women votes. If there's powerful women, the Democratic Party's not going to get as many votes as they got. If the black community is empowered and wealthy and prosperous and running businesses and, getting out of bad situations, the Democratic Party will not get any votes. They will realize that the Democratic Party raises taxes, ups a bunch of social programs that if you make enough, you can't get the money, but it's basically a trap to keep you there, because if you make enough, then you lose the house and all the stuff. So it's like you're incentivized to not make enough money, because then you can't afford anything. It's a total trap. It's a total psyops. And when it comes to actual activism, they're never present. They're too busy pushing another fake story or sharing a video from Cory Booker saying a bunch of words. You're like, oh, I'm Cory Booker. I lost $100 million that's supposed to go to the Newark kids because Newark is an area that really needs help, especially in the black community. But I took all the money and I spent it with Chris Christie on consultants. So now the kids don't have any education system. Oh my God, I've been sold out to the pharmacy industry, but I say words. That's the type of fake activism that is holding every community back. These celebrities are so fake. When it comes to Haiti, none of them will say a word. When it comes to Africa and Libya, none of them will say a word. When it comes to Syria, it's not the celebrity activists who are so concerned about injustice and racism. It's the Trump supporters talking about foreign intervention. It's the Trump supporters talking about all of this stuff. And if it's not the Trump supporters, it's the Bernie Sanders type left-wing people who I disagree with on many policies, but I respect the fact that they understand the media is a complete psyops. They understand that what we're doing foreign intervention-wise, combined with the media manipulation, they're lying to us in order to achieve these insane goals, which are actually hurting our national security and our national interest. They understand that stuff. So it's never, unfortunately, I wish it was otherwise, so I could say other things and people could be like, oh, you're not doing this or that, whatever, but I don't have a fake button to turn on to just please everybody. This is how it is. The celebrity activists and the modern day liberals and the New York Times and the Washington Post and the Huffington Post and the CNNs and the MSNBCs, they are mind control media, they are mind control celebrities, and they are mind control politicians who don't want you to get to the root of the problem. They will scream racism. They will share fake clips from the biggest fraudulent politicians on the planet that are responsible for some of the biggest atrocities to people of all races and religions of the 21st century. They will support them as long as they say these grandiose words that mean absolutely nothing. And they throw racism on things that aren't racist. They throw sexist on things that aren't sexist. And they throw xenophobic on things that aren't xenophobic. Yet they are the biggest, they're the most guilty when it comes to all three of those things. They're against sexism, but they're so sexist that they hate all men and they hate all women who don't agree with them, and they're just the most sexist news organizations on the planet. They hate racism, but they're the most racist until actual racist comes around and actual racism's going on, and then they're completely silent because it doesn't go along with their train of thought. They're so far down their own their heads are so far up their own asses. They're so far in this fantasy land that they have fabricated through fake news and fake activism that they actually believe themselves. And I'm sure they do good things every now and then. I'm sure they donate to some charities or put up some money or help some people or go help in real life. But everything about what the media activism and everything about celebrity activism is so fake. Unfortunately, it is the Trump supporters and the left-wing, progressive Bernie Sanders supporters who are the only ones who talk about anything when it comes to foreign policy. Talk to any celebrity, all of these people. I see hip-hop artists that I like. I see, musicians that I enjoy. They're all such phonies. They're all such fakes. They are easily deceived. And when it actually comes to any sort of policy that is on a global or domestic scale, very, 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 very important for all people, for all Americans, for the entire world, they don't say anything. They're a distraction from that. They don't talk about what happened in any of the countries that they're outraged about. And then when you tell them what they said, they'll just spiral into some weird excuse or be like, oh no, it's not that. I don't understand how so many celebrities, how so many musicians are so dumb, are so fake, are so willing to mislead their entire audiences into this black hole of racism, sexism, and xenophobia, so they stay there. They don't want racism to die. They're trying to increase racism because once it dies, they have no platform. They have no solutions. There's nothing at the core of what they're saying. I'm all for ending racism, sexism, and xenophobia. But it's never going to happen if people keep following these fake celebrities. And I will have a conversation/debate with any of them. Most of them, I have a way bigger platform than. Most of these musicians who were famous 5-10 years ago, no offense, I'm not bragging, just as a statistically, it's like I get more views in 2 weeks than they get in 2 years. So it's not like they have a big platform where they're like, oh, I don't want the exposure. I would probably be helping them with exposure, and I don't care about that. I just want to have a conversation with these people. But they're on Twitter and they're on Instagram in their little bubbles saying, if you dare disagree with me, if you dare support Trump, if you dare support anybody but Hillary Clinton and Cory Booker, then you're a racist, sexist, xenophobic, and it's everything in America's your fault. Meanwhile, the black, Latino, and American unemployment rate is lower than it's ever been. The stock market is higher than it's ever been for people with retirement funds. Military intervention-wise, President Trump, even if he flopped and did a bunch of weird things in the Middle East, what he's done in the past year as far as overturning the policy in Syria, it's more than Bush or Obama did in 8 years. I mean, this guy is not who the media says he is. He's definitely rude to some people. He's definitely mean and different and loud or whatever, but they can't even use what he says and does against him. They have to make up this fake illusion so that when something actually does happen that should be questioned and considered, no one does it. They're a complete fraud. They don't want you to stop Trump. They don't want you to stop the bad policies of Trump. They don't want you to stop foreign intervention. They want you to be so confused in this cloud of hate, negativity, and fake news that when something actually does happen that should be, talked about amongst left-leaning and right-leaning, whatever, you don't talk about it. And that's exactly what's happening. And this last 2 weeks is the peak of their hypocrisy. They're crying about Africa and Haiti. Every celebrity, every hip hop artist, every rapper that's like, I'm a racial activist. I care about black people and I'm going to help black people and I'm so upset about Haiti and Libya. And then you're like, well, bro, if you're so upset about Haiti and Libya, let's talk about Haiti and Libya. I've been trying to talk about it for the past 3 years and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Now that Trump didn't even say something, the media lied, said he said something. Everyone's so outraged, but there's still such pathetic, fake hypocrites that even when they're talking about something with their activism, they don't want to talk about it. It's like, I'm so mad about Africa and Haiti. Let's talk about Africa and Haiti. No, let's not talk about it. Let's just complain about it. Let's just post videos of Cory Booker, a politician, a career politician, and act like I'm an activist. That is the lowest form of fake activism possible, is crying about racism, crying about Africa, crying about Haiti, and then posting a video of Cory Booker, and this is what hip-hop legends think is activism? This is what celebrities think is activism? That's not activism. It's the fakest form of anything. And then you make a comment and say, look what they're actually doing. They're like, oh no, let's not even look at it. I mean, it could have been anyone. No, it's not anyone. We know who did what. We know what's happening there. We know who owns the gold. We know who owns the situation. We know who funded the moderate rebels. They were literally funding terrorists. What the mainstream media has talked about for 8 years. They say, there's terrorists taking over. There's radical extremists. They were funding radical extremists, giving money to them. Could you imagine? And to tell you the truth, if Trump or when Rex Tillerson or if Rex Tillerson, if they do that, if they start funding terrorists on TV saying we're fighting terrorism, and then in real life funding the terrorists, it's not going to be John Legend telling you that. It's not going to be Don Lemon telling you that. It's not going to be the Sarah Silvermans and the Alyssa Milanos and the Chelsea Handlers telling you that, because they don't give a shit. They're never going to tell you that. They're going to distract you from that happening. It's going to be Trump supporters talking about it, and it's going to be left-leaning progressives and libertarians and people of those sorts who are telling you about this. So, unfortunately, I wish it was something else so I could make a different type of pitch. But the liberal Democrat in the United States today, I'm not talking about of all time. I know the Republicans are equally as guilty. I know they're just as bad. I know there's some conservatives that suck and they're racist and they're mean, and I have to block certain ones from my page because they're so arrogant. I'm not saying they don't exist, but the liberal Democrat is the fakest activist on the planet. They don't care about racism. They don't care about sexism. They don't care about xenophobia. They want you to be weak. They want you to get touched. They want you to go home and perform oral sex on somebody and then say you got raped so it'll cover up actual rapes and actual terrible things that happen to women every single day. Imagine being a woman that actually got sexually assaulted and raped, having to turn on the television and watch this whole movement, which is basically a psyops for women to make them feel like they have no self-empowerment or no self-accountability. Imagine if you turn on the television and the activism in the black community is so they focus on like 0.00001 of the deaths that basically never even happen, and then leave out the 99% of the real reason that people are in poverty and the systemic reasons and the actual reasons and the policy reasons. They don't want to solve anything. They are the biggest frauds on the planet, and I'm so tired of logging into Instagram and logging into Twitter and logging into Facebook and seeing all these celebrities. Oh, Cory Booker did a big speech about how racist Trump is. You dummies. You are so dumb or foolish or fake. I don't know which one of these things you are. But to speak about how bad these countries are and how bad it is that he says that, and that not even visit, not even understand what's happening in those countries, who has done those countries wrong and who will continue to do those countries wrong if no one ever addresses the problem, you are the lowest form of scum. And I don't know what it's going to take. People are waking up every day. I think, every single day more and more people realize the truth. More and more people break that mold. But at the same time, there's such a pushback from these celebrities that, I don't understand how they, no one's told them, no one's, messaged them and said, hey, why don't you check out this video? Why don't you check this out? Why didn't you check this out? They must have their heads shoved so far up their own asses that they dismiss everything outside of their perspective. They're like, oh my God, everybody's a right-wing extremist. I can't listen to a word they say. I don't the Alyssa Milano, Sarah Silverman, Chelsea Handler, John Legend, these people are the lowest form of people. They're so disgraceful. They're so hypocritical. And I'll say this, and I'll keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where I'm 10 times the size of them. Not because I want to, but, just so I can get on a level where they'll maybe debate me or have to have a conversation with me, because people deserve a conversation. People deserve to hear what you have to say. People deserve to hear what I have to say. And they don't want there to be a conversation. They tweet all the time, if you voted for Trump, or you're smarter than me, or you understand more than me, or you understand how the U.S. government works, or you understand how lobbying works, and you understand what Hillary Clinton really did, and you understand what's going on in Africa and the Middle East and Haiti, if you are that type of person, you're a racist, and I hate you, and look what you did to America. We're doing great. African American and Latino and all races, unemployment is at a low. Activists for the last 10 years have been complaining about jobs, citing them as the #1 reason for poverty and crime. So as soon as that changes, they have to make this whole other fake bubble of illusion. And I'm not saying racism and terrible stuff exists, but the celebrity activist is a complete fake. They have to make up their own fake reality to basically just ruin everything and lie about everything. And they're so caught in their own reality, they don't want to have a conversation. They don't want people to be strong. They don't want people to be knowledgeable. They don't want people to actually know. And I had to make this video because just after the last 2 weeks, I mean, they've always been hypocrites. They've always been frauds. They've always been complete, a complete psyops. But with the Haiti and Africa situation, I mean, it's almost beyond laughable at this point. They're such losers that I don't know what, like, they're like running out of things to talk about. They lied about Russia for an entire year. They had the whole United States thinking, Russia, oh my God, I'm John Legend. And even Jim Carrey, he's like, oh, Putin and Trump, durr. Putin and Trump, durr. It's like, dumbass, Trump is overturning a deep state policy to not fund terrorists so we don't have another situation in Libya that ends up like slavery. And what do you hear from the politicians and the celebrities? Like, duh, Russia. The whole year goes by. They find absolutely no collusion. The only indictments they had were on Paul Manafort that were 7 years old that had nothing to do with Russia and nothing to do with Trump. Meanwhile, all the Russia collusion now, 11 indictments on the Uranium One scandal. Let me remind you that PolitiFact, Snopes, and the mainstream media for a year said was a conspiracy theory, and they told everyone for a year it was a completely right-wing conspiracy theory, even though it's not a right-wing thing, it's just a reality thing. Now that there's 11-count indictment in Maryland on somebody involved with the Uranium One scandal, they're on to the next thing. Oh, now everything's racist, but don't actually look at where we're talking about. Just yell a bunch of words. Don't research Haiti, don't research Libya, don't research Africa, don't research Syria, don't research Yemen, don't research Somalia, don't research Iraq, don't research Afghanistan. Don't do any of this stuff. Just yell a bunch of words and scream and take, hundreds of thousands of dollars from the pharmacy industry and take $10 million from Mark Zuckerberg and yell and make your eyes real big, and then people will share your videos. I mean, this type of activism is pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. And anybody who shares that type of stuff or think that that's great, all I ask is that you consider what's going on. If you care so much about these countries, if you care so much about it, research those countries. Listen to Louis Farrakhan talk about them. If you want someone black to listen to, and you want a black activist to listen to, although certain things that Louis Farrakhan say, definitely I don't agree with 100%. When it comes to foreign policy and when it comes to what's going on in the Middle East and in Africa, Louis Farrakhan is 10,000 times the man that Cory Booker is. Cory Booker is a politician. He's a total fake. Like I said, I'm not co-signing everything that Louis Farrakhan says or does, but Cory Booker is the lowest form of an activist. He's not an activist, he's a politician. A politician. All of these politicians are complete phonies, complete sellouts. I don't want to say all, throw everyone in. I know I try to be as nice as possible. So like I said, I like Rand Paul. I'm sure there's some other ones doing some good things, but please get to the root of the problem. If you just stay on the surface and scream a bunch of names and just think that, posting a video like that is going to change anything, it's never going to. Nothing that these celebrities say is true. They're trying to take their own fake mindset, their own fake interpretation of everything that's happening, which is based off a bunch of fake information and fake people. That they're trying to take that and push it so far down people's throats that they can't even accept it. Like, I don't say, if you disagree with me, F you, leave America, and I don't say that. I say, if you disagree with me, I love you. I say, I love you, Don Lemon. I love you, John Legend. Let's have a debate. Let's talk, man. I'll give you a hug. We'll drink a coffee together. I'll say, God bless you, and we'll have a debate. But these people don't want that to happen because they know they'll probably get swept under the floor. So what they have to do is attack everybody that thinks outside the box from them because they're so mad that their narrative's not true. They say President Trump is mentally unhealthy. He scores a 30 out of 30. He's in perfect health. For a 70-year-old, I mean, this guy's in his 70s, and he's better at social media than 99.9% of all these other politicians, and they still have the nerve to claim he's mentally unhealthy. Then he's physically unfit, then this, then that. They can't accept that they're complete fraudulent liars, so they bounce from story to story to story to story to story to story to story. Fake outrage, fake outrage, fake outrage, fake outrage. It's a never-ending cycle with these complete losers. And I feel very comfortable calling them complete losers because that's what they are. If they were just complete losers doing loser stuff and just hang out with a bunch of losers and no one was getting affected, I would let them be losers because, to be honest, I have better things to do. I don't even like talking illy of anybody, and I would much rather focus on the solution. But these losers, are dragging millions of people into their mindset. They're like, come be wrong with me, come be negative with me, and attack and hate everybody outside of that perspective. And they're just unwilling. I mean, it's like they won't stop. They just won't stop. So they're going to face more backlash. And they're going to face more backlash. And they're going to face more backlash. Just like every news site is. Now when they post their, phony thing on YouTube, it's got 99% down likes and 1% up likes because the people aren't buying it anymore. So once again, it's all love. I don't care what policies you like. I don't care what politicians you like, but at least get to the truth. If you're going to talk about all these countries, talk about these countries. Don't just make this like blanket statement and then leave out the truth. And once again, when it comes to Syria, when it comes to Libya, when it comes to Haiti, when it comes to the United States, when it comes to real racist stuff going on, when it comes to things going on in here, it is unfortunately not the liberal Democrats, the mainstream media, or celebrity activists who are talking about it. They're hiding everything. They're the distraction PR team psyops of the country. They lie about everything. They cheat. They distract. They mislead. It's going to be people like me. It's going to be people within Trump's organization and Trump supporters that are actually paying attention because, to be honest, they're not. It's like the only political movement I've seen in a long time where people don't just agree with him. There's so many Trump supporters. As the second that Trump or Tillerson or somebody, Jeff Sessions, does something wrong, they immediately call him out. And it's much more effective because people actually like them. And Trump actually likes his supporters. And he likes to be liked. So it's a way better strategy for actual change than to just scream and shriek and lie about everything and say, you're mentally unfit, you're mentally unfit. These people are not activists. They're never going to solve anything. It's going to be people who are being honest about the situation, realistic, who are actually preventing him from doing much worse things. It's going to be, like I said, either left-leaning progressives who I don't always agree with, but I at least respect the fact that they know the Russia thing's a lie and the media's lying and the Democrats are pathetic and celebrity activists are not really activists, and the Trump supporters who are not a bunch of racists or not a bunch of sexists. They are people who have 50 million different reasons for liking him. Some people like him because of this. Some people like him because of that. Some people like him because he knows more stuff about vaccines than other people. Some people like him because of his foreign intervention policy and the fact that he doesn't intervene as much as Obama, Hillary, and Bush. There's some people like him because he's lowering taxes. There's some people like him because they have small businesses and they know how business works. There's some people like him because he makes government smaller. He cuts regulations and he's chopping at the feet of big government. And these fake celebrity activists, while they act like government's so terrible and corrupt, their policies are to give more of your taxes to government, to give more power to government, to give more control to government. And you'll never hear them talking about when they overreach with their spying policies. It's Rand Paul talking about it. It's potentially Tulsi Gabbard talking about it. And it's people that they tell you not to listen to. They say, don't even have a conversation with somebody because they're a bunch of racists. They're total phonies, and I'm sick of it because they're not talking about Syria. I'm talking about it, and other Trump supporters. They're not talking about Libya. They're not talking about Haiti. They're not talking about Africa. They're not talking about real racism. They're not talking about what's going on. They're not talking about jobs. They're not talking about taxes. Total fakes. And I just felt the need to make this video to let you know. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. As always, much love. Thank you guys so much for listening. And God bless all the celebrities. God bless all the fake activists. God bless all the fake racial advocates. I pray for you, and I hope that one day you see the truth and you actually try to get to the root of the problem instead of creating this fake reality that you use to basically distract and mislead millions of people, because it's a horrible, horrible way to be, and you're running out of space. You're running out of time to do this, because every single day more and more people wake up. The base has doubled. People are not buying it anymore. People of certain races and religions that were once kind of duped, they're not duped anymore. And it's going to be exponential. With the internet, it's happened. So much has happened in the last year. In the last 2 years, there's been a mental awakening that's been stronger than the last 15 years. And it's only going to keep growing at that rate. And like Julian Assange says, I think one of the biggest things that we face, one of the biggest obstacles we face is going to be artificial intelligence. It's already part of Google. It's already part of a lot of big companies, a lot of big internet companies. They use AI and artificial intelligence already to do a lot of this censorship stuff and a lot of their video checking and whatnot. So that's you know, a very, very big concern for humanity that you'll never hear one of those activists talk about either. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to put my links below. If you would like to pick up a shirt or a hat, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. It's dreamrare.com. My email list is free. I'm going to send out an email this week. People keep saying, I didn't get an email yet. I'm only going to send one like once a month. I don't want to bombard people, so probably once a month. I'm not going to hit you with the email every week or something. And then I'm going to put my link below if you would like to support and donate to the movement. I got a green screen and my microphone set up now, so you know, a lot of my videos from now on are going to be a lot more professional. Thank you guys for supporting that much, and I'm going to keep doing what I can to at least spread the truth, and at bare minimum spread a conversation, because the toxic celebrity culture, it's not even that they're just saying these things or doing these things, it's that they're pushing them so far down people's throats, and they're saying, if you don't agree with my fake reality, that, you know, you're a terrible person. I just can't co-sign it, and I'm going to do everything I can to get them to have a discussion. So hopefully it comes soon, and hopefully we could have more of an understanding, so we don't have to put up with 3 years of this ridiculous hypocrisy, delusion, and straight up dangerous, you know, mindset that these people want to instill in everybody, because it's not okay. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Have a good day. I'll be back soon.